right. Well, hey, everybody. My name is Bruno Bornstein, and I am one of the co-founders of InfluenceKit. My background is in blogging. I ran a blog as my business for over 10 years, and then got together with Chris and started working on InfluenceKit, which is a tool to help content creators and brands work together more easily.
Hey, everybody. I'm Chris Tuttle, and I'm one of the co-founders here. There's two of us, and we make reporting wildly easy for influencers, agencies, and brands. And we're super excited to be part of the WIM Tech Showcase this year. So as a title sponsor, we paid for an hour-long demo. But InfluenceKit is so simple, we just couldn't figure out how to fill the time. And we just decided, well, let's give that time back to you. So we're not going to take more than 30 minutes today, which means you just got an extra 30 minutes back. And what you decide to do at that time, well, that's up to you. Before we show you how InfluenceKit works, how you can simplify reporting with InfluenceKit, I want to tell you a quick story about Caitlin. Caitlin leads the influencer marketing efforts at Rust-Oleum. I'm sure you're familiar with Rust-Oleum. They're a huge brand and company, and they're a leading provider of paints and protective coverings for the home improvement and DIY market. And they work extensively with influencers to generate brand awareness and source top quality content. But Caitlin had a problem. Collecting screenshots was way too time consuming. She couldn't share live campaign data instantly with other departments and with her boss. And she needed relief from the manual process involved with collecting stats from influencers. Basically, before InfluenceKit, reporting wasn't much better than this. And I'm sure you've been there. Your campaign just ended, and now it's time to start gathering stats. Cue the follow-up emails, the spreadsheets, the screenshots, the incomplete reports, the lack of response from your influencers, the next follow-up email, and the next follow-up email, and the next follow-up email. Before you know it, your new full-time job is influencer follow-upper. Of this process, Caitlin said, using screenshots was a mess. I'd hear from a salesperson asking, what's the total impressions for our campaign? Which meant I had to add up a bunch of stats from screenshots manually. It was just a pain. And on top of all that, even after Caitlin had gathered what she could from her influencers, she didn't have any confidence in the accuracy of the numbers. She says, the biggest pain point was that it didn't feel like these metrics that I was pulling together were really credible. It felt like I was just throwing numbers together into an Excel sheet that was never updated. And then one day, Caitlin got an InfluenceKit report from an influencer she was working with. And she'd never seen anything like it before and liked what she saw. So she reached out to find out if she could get reports like this from all her influencers. And we told her, yes, we can help her put an end to screenshots, the endless spreadsheets, and the email chains, and that we can help make reporting easy, accurate, and always up to date. We hopped on a quick demo, showed her how it works, and then she was ready to start using InfluenceKit. Now, instead of manually collecting screenshots, adding up the metrics, putting them into a spreadsheet, and then doing it all over again, Caitlin can turn this into this. She says, now when I'm in a meeting and a customer wants to know in the next 10 minutes how many impressions came from our recent campaign, instead of going back into an Excel doc or emailing an influencer, I can just log into InfluenceKit and send over the link. It's easy to use and everything is right there in the tool that you need. And that's really what we want you to remember from this demo today, is that there's a lot of tools out there to help you solve this problem. But most look something like this. And this is not what you need in a reporting tool. A lot of the tools that are available do a lot of things. And some of those things can look and sound really appealing. But from our experience and the brands and agencies we work with, we've learned that successful reporting really comes down to one thing: simplicity. The easier it is to use, the more likely it is that your influencers are going to use it. So as you look for a tool to solve this reporting problem, remember, it needs to be simple and easy for you and for your influencers. And that's what you'll get with InfluenceKit. Easy reporting for you as a brand or an agency and for your influencers. Rust-Oleum is just one of dozens of companies that InfluenceKit has helped simplify reporting. These are just a few of the other brands and agencies that we've worked with. Now I know what you're thinking. You're at a tech showcase and you need to see it to believe it. You're thinking to yourself, this is great, cute story, but show me. So that's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna invite Bruno in and he's gonna show you how to use InfluenceKit to simplify your reporting.
All right, cool, thank you, Chris. So I'm gonna share my screen and just walk you through what it's like to use InfluenceKit as a brand who's working with influencers. We're just gonna show you how simple it is to invite some influencers to share their reporting with you. So let's just go all the way from the beginning. I'm gonna create my brand account right here. So I'm gonna do that. And I'm just gonna put in my name and I'm gonna say, oops, create my account, super easy. All right, so now that my account's been created, I'm taken directly to Influencer Hub. So Influencer Hub is the part of InfluenceKit where you will create your campaigns, communicate with influencers, and ultimately pull together all of your reporting for your campaigns. It's organized by campaign, and the way these work is these are the biggest sort of grouping of content that you might want to report at. So oftentimes we see people organizing these by year, sometimes by quarter or by product. In this case, we're a pretend oven company, so we're going to create a campaign for a new oven that we're launching. So I'll just click on Create Campaign, and I'm going to just give it a name. We're going to call it Masterpiece Oven. Now my campaign is created, and I can create assignments inside of that campaign. An assignment is a project that you have one or more influencers working on. So to do that, I just click here. I'm going to give it a name. So let's say we're launching this product in the summer. So I'll just call it Summer Product Launch. I'm going to choose a due date. We'll say that we want all the deliverables put into InfluenceKit by August 31st. And then I can communicate all of the assignment requirements right here. So this is a really nice way for us to make sure that all of the influencers who are working on this assignment really have a clear understanding of everything that we want from them. Oftentimes this is pasted directly from your statement of work, but what we're trying to do here is to avoid making your influencers have to dig through PDFs or click through a long email thread just to figure out all the specific requirements that they need to make sure to meet. The other thing you can do right here is add attachments to this. So you could add a PDF, maybe you've got like brand messaging guidelines that you want to include, or maybe there's a brand logo or stock images of the product that you want to share. Anything that you really want the influencers to have at their fingertips is something that you can add right here. So I'm going to click Save. And now I'm ready to go. There's two easy ways to invite an influencer. One is to just copy this sign-up link and send it off in your own email. And that can be good if you have some additional context that you want to share, or if it's an influencer that's not familiar with InfluenceKit yet, so you kind of want to just prep them and explain what's going on here. But the easier way is to just add in their emails. So I'm just going to add mine and Chris's here, usually like that. So what this is going to do when I click send is it's just going to send out an automated email to each of us. It found us in the system and it's marking the assignment as proposed. So I know that the ball is kind of in the influencer's court now. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over and kind of walk through what this process looks like from the influencer side. A big part of kind of our promise to you is that we're making this as easy as possible for the influencer, because we know that if you don't do that, it's going to be really hard for them to follow through and get you the stats that you need. So this is what the email looks like that the influencer gets. It just says that an assignment has been proposed for me. It includes all the details that the brand included in the description, and I can just click here to accept the assignment or to start working on it. Now, keep in mind, the influencer's account is separate from the brand's account here. We do that on purpose because we know that influencers value their privacy really highly, and we want to make sure they understand that their data is completely separate from your data. So the only thing you're ever going to see are the pieces of content that the deliverable explicitly chooses to share with you. And we think that's really important. And it gives the influencers a lot of peace of mind that they know they have control over who's seeing their data and what's getting shared. So now that I'm here, I can see that the brand has shared an assignment with me. I can read all the details, and maybe I have a question. So I can come in here and leave a comment. And remember, just as a reminder, I'm acting as an influencer now, and I'm in a separate account. So I'm going to leave a comment there. Comment is there, and now the brand is going to get an email notifying them that I left them a question. So this is a great way for everybody on your team to be on the same page and know, in this case, what's the influencer shipping address, or to be able to kind of manage that whole process that happens as you're producing the influencer content. So once that whole process has gone through, the influencer clicks accept. They're ready to actually add their deliverables. So what is a deliverable? It's probably something that you're familiar with. A deliverable is just the actual piece of content that the influencer created for you. So in this case, because we've worked so hard to make this really easy for the influencer, we let them just cut and paste. So they don't have to go into any app. They don't have to open up their analytics. Literally all they have to do is cut and paste the URLs from each piece of content that they generated from you. There's no limit to the number of deliverables they can add, so they can really be comprehensive in adding every single piece of content. And because once they've added these, InfluenceKit will continue updating the stats indefinitely. There's no real barrier for them to add as much content as they can here. We know that a lot of times influencers will create additional content as part of a campaign that's not contracted, but sometimes they don't report on it because it's just too much of a hassle. So InfluenceKit allows them to do that really easily. The other thing that we make really easy is Instagram stories. So we know that stories expiring is a source of huge headaches for a lot of people. And we really want to avoid influencers or brands having to screenshot stories or stay up till the middle of the night to wait for a story to expire. So once an influencer connects with us on InfluenceKit, we start archiving all of their content, all of their stories in InfluenceKit. And even if they've expired, they can still come back here and just select the stories that they want to add. The other cool thing is that we actually capture the story itself, which means that you or anybody else who's viewing the report is going to be able to see the content that was created, not just a screenshot of the content. All right, so the influencer is basically done now. You saw that whole process, even with me stumbling through it and talking about it, took maybe 5 minutes. So we're really serious when we mean we've worked hard to make this easy for the influencer. At this point, they've added their stuff, their deliverables are in the system, and InfluenceKit will just keep on processing them, updating the stats every single day to make sure that you as the brand have all the latest accurate stats on your report. Okay, cool. So you can see now as an influencer, my job is done. All my deliverables are here, and there's really not a lot else that I need to do. So let's go back over to the brand side and see what this looks like for you. So I'm going to just switch back into my brand account. You can see now that all of my stats are starting to come in. I can see both of my influencers have added deliverables, left me a couple comments. There's a rate field here that we can use. This is just for you. The influencer doesn't see this, but you can use this just to kind of keep track of what you're spending per assignment and as a way of letting you compare influencer to influencer. So now with a rate, we can give you a CPM, CPV, and CPE, which just kind of allows you to see how are my different influencers stacking up within an assignment. The other thing you can do here is click into the influencer, and now you can see here's the comment thread. Here's the image that the influencer sent to me. I can click on that to get the full-sized, full resolution image. And I can even go back and view all of the files that have been added for the whole assignment. So that allows you to just have a repository of all the content that was created for that assignment. The next thing I'll do is just click on the influencer's report. So this is just Chris's report. So this is just him. And you can see at the top, I've got impressions, views, and engagements, and we order those in kind of descending order or ascending order of importance. So impressions is the number of times your content was visible to users. View is the number of times users read or watched your content, and engagements represents any time that users actually interacted with the content. So we think these aggregate numbers at the top are really important, but we've also worked really, really hard to make sure that the content itself is highlighted on these reports. So as you scroll down, you can see the actual content is right here at your fingertips, really easy to access and really easy to share. So I've got the Instagram stories, I've got the blog post, an Instagram in-feed. Basically, any deliverable that the influencer has added is really easy for me to get to here. And don't let the simplicity of this report fool you too much, because although we have worked hard to make it look simple and feel simple, we've also included really in-depth data. So we're really gathering all the data you need. We're not leaving anything out, but we're just trying to make this report really easy to scan, super easy to communicate the top line numbers with everybody that needs to see them. Sharing the report is also really easy. So I can just grab a link and I can share that with anybody who's on my team, or I can export this as a PDF if you need to. So that was Chris's report, but I've got 2 influencers on this assignment. So maybe I want to see the report for the whole assignment. Well, that's really easy too. I just click on the assignment report. And now basically I've got 2 different influencers grouped together onto one report. I've got Bruno here and I've got Chris there. And I can easily compress them if all I care about is the top line numbers, or I can expand these if I actually want to see each individual influencer's content. At the top, this looks exactly the same, and then I have the same sharing options in terms of sharing a combined report. So the great thing here is that it allows me to drill down at a bunch of different levels. Maybe I just want to look at one influencer. Maybe I just want to look at one assignment, or maybe you're doing a yearly wrap report for the whole campaign, or maybe the whole product line, and that's really easy too. It's just one click here to click and view the campaign report. So that covers really most of what InfluenceKit does. We've tried to keep it really simple. I'm sure your next question is, what does it cost? So I'm going to throw it back to Chris and he's going to talk about pricing.
Thanks, Bruno. That was great. So let's take a look at how much InfluenceKit might cost you. Right now, I'm on the pricing page of our website. You can find this by hovering over pricing, clicking on brands and agencies, and you'll find a pricing calculator. This is going to make it easy for you to estimate how much InfluenceKit might cost. To do that, just change the number of campaigns based on how many you run a year, estimate how many influencers, and of course, this can be your best guess. That's hard to pin down. Things are always changing. But as you move these numbers and get closer to what you think it may be, you'll see the price change over here on the right. There's no contract when you use InfluenceKit. You can cancel anytime and no annual commitment. So that's an overview of InfluenceKit and how it can help you and your brand or agency simplify reporting. We'd love to answer any of your questions. You can reach us at influencekit.com/WIM. We have live chat there on the site. We'll also be in the breakout room. So if you have any questions or want to know how InfluenceKit will work for you, come connect with us. We'd love to meet and look forward to working together.